Across history, societies have sought justice and order, sometimes through punishments designed to terrify as much as to punish. Some methods aim to reform, others to confine, but a few were crafted for maximum suffering, serving as chilling warnings. Today we reveal 7 of the worst punishment methods in history, exploring what they say about the cultures that created them. These punishments are stark reminders of humanity's capacity for cruelty, even in eras of great achievement. As we examine these dark chapters, we seek not just to recount horror, but to understand the context that gave rise to such extremes. Let's begin our journey into the shadows of history. Ancient Greece, a birthplace of philosophy, also gave rise to the brazen bull, a device of unspeakable cruelty. Commissioned by the tyrant Phalaris, the brazen bull was a hollow bronze statue, large enough to hold a person inside. Once sealed within, a fire was lit beneath, turning the bull into a furnace. Ingeniously, tubes inside the bull's head transformed the victim's screams into the sound of a raging bull. The spectacle was designed for maximum psychological impact, a fusion of art and torture. For onlookers, it was a display of absolute power, for the victim, a dehumanizing end. Legend says the bull's inventor, Perilaus, became its first victim, forced inside by Phalaris himself. Eventually, poetic justice struck. Phalaris was overthrown and met his own end in the bull. The brazen bull stands as a symbol of unchecked tyranny, where suffering became entertainment and cruelty, a tool of control. Even in societies of great thinkers, the potential for brutality lurked just beneath the surface. The bull's roars, once a tyrant's amusement, became the sound of liberation for the oppressed. Its legacy is a chilling reminder of how power can corrupt creativity. The brazen bull was not just an execution device, it was a message: defy, and your agony will be made a spectacle. It remains one of history's most infamous instruments of terror. The line between civilization and savagery, it seems, is perilously thin. In the end, the bull's story is a warning about the dangers of absolute power. And so, the echoes of its bellowing still haunt the annals of human cruelty. Flaying, removing a person's skin while alive, was among the most excruciating punishments ever devised. Most infamously used by the Assyrians, it was a public act meant to instill terror. Stone reliefs from Assyrian palaces depict the process with chilling clarity, serving as eternal warnings. Victims were tied down, and executioners would peel the skin away with knives, starting at the limbs. The pain was unimaginable, and death came slowly, often after prolonged suffering. Flaying was not just physical torment, it was psychological annihilation, stripping away identity and humanity. The Assyrians would display the flayed skins of enemies on city walls, a gruesome banner of dominance. Other cultures like the Aztecs incorporated flaying into religious rituals, blending horror with sacred symbolism. In medieval Europe, tales of flaying served as cautionary stories of justice and retribution. The act attacked the very boundary between self and world, leaving victims utterly exposed. Flaying erased individuality, reducing a person to a raw, suffering object. Its legacy endures as a symbol of ultimate cruelty and domination. The memory of such punishments policed societies long after the acts themselves. Flaying was about more than death, it was about obliterating the enemy, body and soul. It stands as a testament to the extremes of power and the terror used to maintain it. Through art and record, the horror of flaying remains a warning from history. It is a reminder of the darkness that can emerge when fear and authority combine. In the end, flaying was a tool to enforce obedience through unforgettable terror. The breaking wheel, or Catherine wheel, was Europe's answer to public prolonged agony. Reserved for the most serious crimes, it was designed to destroy the body while keeping the victim alive. The condemned was tied to a large wooden wheel. The executioner shattered their limbs with an iron bar. Each blow was calculated, breaking bones but avoiding a quick death. Afterward, the mangled body was woven through the spokes and hoisted high for all to see. Death came slowly, sometimes over days from shock, exposure, or predatory birds. The spectacle was as much psychological torture as physical, a warning to all who witnessed it. Public humiliation was integral. The victim became a living monument to their own crime. Occasionally a mercy blow ended the suffering, but often this was denied. The wheel symbolized the state's power to dismantle a person utterly. Its use persisted into the 19th century, a relic of a time when punishment was theater. The breaking wheel's legacy is one of calculated, state-sanctioned cruelty. It shattered not just bones, but the very spirit of its victims. The memory of such spectacles lingered, deterring crime through fear. Its decline marked a shift toward more humane justice, but its shadow remains. The breaking wheel endures as a vivid example of punishment designed to destroy both body and soul. In Imperial China, lingqi, death by 1,000 cuts, became a byword for slow, torturous execution. Reserved for the gravest crimes, lingqi was both a physical and psychological ordeal. The condemned was tied in public, and the executioner methodically sliced away flesh, prolonging life in agony. Opium was sometimes used, not for mercy, but to keep the victim conscious. Beyond pain, lingqi carried spiritual consequences. A mutilated body could not be properly buried, condemning the soul. Each cut was a fresh wave of terror, a slow erasure of self. The public nature of the punishment reinforced the state's absolute authority. For spectators, it was a lesson in the consequences of violating social order. Lingqi was a tool of control, its horror deeply ingrained in collective memory. Surviving photographs from its final years offer a haunting glimpse into this brutality. International outrage eventually led to its abolition in 1905. Lingqi represents the intersection of torture, psychological warfare, and spiritual punishment. It sought to destroy a person on every level, body, mind, and soul. Its legacy is a chilling reminder of the extremes societies will reach to enforce their values. Lingqi's memory endures as a symbol of the terrifying ingenuity of human punishment. Scaphism, or the boats, was a Persian punishment that weaponized nature itself. The victim was trapped between two boats with head, hands, and feet exposed. Force-fed milk and honey, they suffered violent diarrhea, lying in their own filth. More honey was smeared on their skin, attracting swarms of insects. Flies and beetles feasted, laying eggs in wounds and orifices. The process was prolonged, victims were kept alive, force-fed daily and left to rot in stagnant water. Death came from dehydration, infection, and being eaten alive by maggots. The psychological torment was as profound as the physical. Plutarch recounts a victim surviving 17 days in this living hell. Scaphism outsourced torture to the natural world, turning the body into a vessel of decay. It blurred the line between life and death, corruption and consciousness. The method stands as a testament to the diabolical creativity of human punishment. Scaphism's horror lay in its slow, relentless embrace of suffering. It remains one of history's most grotesque and insidious executions. Impalement, brutally simple, devastatingly effective, became infamous under Vlad the Impaler. A sharpened stake was inserted through the victim's body, then raised upright, leaving them to die slowly. Vlad used impalement as a tool of terror, creating forests of the impaled to deter enemies. The stake was deliberately dull, prolonging agony as the victim's weight drove it through their body. Death could take hours or days, with the victim fully conscious for much of the ordeal. Vlad's mass impalement sent a clear message: defy him, and suffer unimaginably. Even hardened foes like Sultan Mehmed II were repelled by the sight. Impalement was about more than execution. It was psychological warfare on a grand scale. The method stripped victims of all dignity, making their suffering a public warning. Its legacy is one of pure brutality, where justice and cruelty became indistinguishable. The image of bodies on stakes became a universal symbol of barbarism. Impalement's infamy fueled legends, including the Dracula myth. Other empires, like the Ottomans, also used it to assert dominance. It was the ultimate projection of power through terror. Impalement endures as a stark reminder of the depths of human cruelty. Crucifixion, perfected by the Romans, was a slow, public, and humiliating death. Used for slaves and enemies, it marked the condemned as less than human. The ordeal began with brutal scourging, followed by a forced march carrying the crossbeam. Victims were nailed through the wrists and feet, then hoisted up to hang in agony. The true torment was asphyxiation. Each breath required pushing up on nailed feet, scraping torn flesh. Death came slowly, sometimes over days, amid exposure and dehydration. Bodies were left for scavengers, a final act of desecration. Crucifixion was a tool of social control, lining roads with crosses after revolts. Its cruelty is cemented in history, not just for its pain, but for its psychological impact. The method became a symbol of both terror and, later, redemption. Yet its origins are rooted in calculated, state-sanctioned brutality. The cross remains a powerful reminder of the extremes of Roman power. Crucifixion's legacy is a testament to the efficiency of cruelty as deterrence. It stands as one of history's most infamous and psychologically devastating punishments. We've witnessed the chilling ingenuity of humanity's darkest punishments. These acts reveal how intelligence can be twisted toward systematic suffering. Each method reflects the fears and power structures of its time. They remind us how thin the line is between civilization and barbarism. By confronting this darkness, perhaps we can better guard against its return. The story of humanity is both light and shadow, and only by facing both can we hope for a better future.